You know the phrase, there's a first time for everything? Well, in my dumpster rental business, I had another first yet again. The very first time I've ever not been able to deliver a dumpster on the right day. I've gone over 2 years being able to deliver the dumpster on time, early, often, maybe sometimes late, but for the very first time ever, I actually was not able to deliver a dumpster on time. But for the first time ever, I wasn't able to deliver a dumpster on the day I said I was supposed to, on the day we agreed on. And it also happened to be with a customer that had all of their relatives, all of their children coming into town to help with the project, to be able to get the job done with a lot of extra labor that they paid for them to come into town. So in this video, I want to share with you my experience with this recent situation that happened. It's still kind of, it's gut-wrenching. It's a silly, stupid problem, and ultimately it's getting fixed here very soon. But had a problem, had a big problem, and the first time ever happening in my business. And the truth is, I'm sure there's many people out there, maybe even you, have gone through a situation like this where you were unable to, for whatever reason, to deliver a dumpster on the right day. But for me, I try to hold myself to an extremely high degree of accountability, responsibility, and with my business plan as how I just schedule my dumpsters, I have to be at a pretty high peak efficiency to be able to get things done and to be able to follow through with customers. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So to set up the story, I have been having some issues with my roll-off truck. Issues not serious or, catastrophic of a problems, but simply when it gets hot or when it has been running for all day or a certain amount of time, the truck might not start later on in the day. That's how it seems it has been reacting. Maybe once in a blue moon in the morning, but it's almost always able to start right up on the key in the first try on the key in the mornings, no issues. So I've been kind of chasing a ghost of a problem for the last month or so, trying to figure out what in the world's going on. Why is this not working? Why is it not working every single time and only at certain times? So I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's the heat. Maybe my batteries are being drained because it is hotter outside. Is it a fuse? Is it a relay? Looking at the starter, the solenoid, a good ground, all of these things, looking at this, and yet still unable to figure it out. I've got a decent amount of understanding of how trucks work, and so up until just recently here, I've been just with the understanding of I start my truck up in the morning and I do not turn the truck off until I'm done for the day. And so just to guarantee it's never had a problem, dying while going down the road. That would be an alternator or maybe a grounding issue or something. But with the idea that I don't stop the truck until I'm done for the day, and I know I'm done for the day, reasonably. And so that's what I've been doing. Well, I had a customer, this customer asked me to deliver it at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, knowing full well that it's a 2-day rental and you're losing half the day here. I said, sure, that's fine. More recently, the truck has been cooperating a little bit better. Maybe not on the first couple tries, but eventually, 5 minutes later, it would start up. Well, there's been other times where it's been 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, just clicking, nothing happening. And so on this particular day, I had done all my other deliveries and pickups in the morning. I had my 20-yard can, which is what I was going to have to deliver to them. It was already on the truck, loaded, and I was going to dump it at the transfer station, and then basically that's right on the way out of town, straight to where they were going to be at. So I stopped for lunch because it has been cooperating better recently. I stopped for lunch at Chick-fil-A, and I came back out with still plenty enough time to dump and still get there by 1 p.m. and a little bit more of a wiggle room. And I go to start the truck and nothing happens. And then nothing continues to happen. And so I'm checking everything. I'm checking all wires, fuses, getting my voltmeter out, checked just about everything. In the meantime, time is ticking down. The entire family, we're talking 6 adult children, probably twice my age, are waiting. And so I'm going into panic mode. Okay, listen, this thing has some trouble starting in the afternoon. I don't know if it's due to temperature, if a wire's not grounded, if it's not getting the right voltage. I don't know what's going on, but this is becoming a major problem. And so I'm frantically running around. I'd already actually bought 2 brand new batteries for my roll-off truck, 1,000 cold cranking amps, just because I don't have a real history on my batteries that came with the truck over 2 years ago, and I just want to know. So I replaced those batteries. A buddy drove me back to my house. I already had them at the house. I just hadn't come over here yet and installed them to my storage facility. So I drove my Ram pickup truck to that location where I was at in the parking lot, swapped out the batteries, again, checked anything and everything, voltmetered everything. Everything is showing it should have life. I'm even trying to jump the truck off of my Ram truck just in case I'm draining power. Making sure I still have 14 volts. My other truck's running just fine. Is this truck, just trying to get any way to get this to happen. And so hours go by. And after, I believe, the first hour, the customer was calling me at that point going, "Hey, where are you at? What's going on?" She left me a voicemail I missed asking if I was a scammer, that she thought, "My kids are saying that you're a scammer. Did you take my money and run?" And at that point, when I heard that voicemail, I just died inside. I'm just like, dude, not only am I not a scammer, but I feel about this tall. I mean, I feel like just absolute scum of the earth. I'm letting you down, the whole family. I mean, I feel horrible. And so, rather than just schmoozing over the phone, I'm trying to fix the problem here, trying to find out some way, just coerce it enough just to get it started today. We can die another day. Can we get it started today and just make it happen? And so I eventually told the customer on the phone, "Hey, this is the problem. This is what's going on. If I had delivered it to you earlier today, it would have been just fine. The truck was already running. I wouldn't have turned off the truck. I've been having some issues. It's been hard to track down." At that point, I had a mechanic who was willing to come to me after 5 p.m. The transfer station on that day was Thursday, closed at 6 o'clock. I was unable to get there by 6. By 6:30, after it was a total of 6.5 hours, from noon to 6:30, I was in this parking lot going bananas, checking the solenoid starter. I'd already replaced the starter twice in the last month or so, just trying to figure out what in the world's been going on. The shop verified that the starter, at least the first one, did have some issues. And we were ready to hot wire the thing, ready to jump it right off the solenoid, to bypass it and just send it. And it started up on its own by just simply, one more time, turning the key. Started right up like nothing ever happened, no issues. Since then, I've learned it was the ignition harness, the ignition starting harness, whatever you want to call that. That's being replaced this weekend, which is great. I already have the harness ready to go. But this customer, she was definitely an elderly lady, and very, very nervous, very, very concerned, and just really stressing out. Not really angry at me, but angry and frustrated at the situation. Upset about her kids not being able to do what they're there to do. They were all there just kind of standing around, hanging out. I mean, just having a good old family time. She said, "It's been great. Everybody's been great, but they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing here. We've got to get this done. It has to happen, today." And so I ended up telling her, "Hey, I got it started. I'm getting it checked out by my mechanic. I can't get the 20 yard that was on here dumped and delivered to you tonight. Tomorrow morning, as I've said, it should start no problem in the morning." And that's exactly what happened. The next morning, Friday morning, I was able to start it. I was able to dump the 20-yard that I had on there and then go straight to their property. Got it dropped off by 8 a.m. I believe, and they were very kind, very thrilled about it. Excited it finally happened. People had already left due to they only had the first day available. It was a 2-day rental. One person loaded up the 20-yard by themselves, and it was the stepson. And this lady had told me, she said, it'd be one thing if I hated this guy, but the truth is, I love him. I care about him. I feel horrible he has to go through this. I just wish he didn't have to, experience this. And I just feel bad for everybody, myself, for you. And I said, truthfully, this is the first time, as far as I'm aware of, this is the first time I've ever not been able to deliver on time to a customer. It's never happened in my business. And so at 3 years almost, nearly, it's a shocker to me. It's a wake-up call, whatever you want to say. I'm not trying to take things out of proportion, but the truth is that having a roll-off truck with most of the business being the cans means having a backup truck is a real deal for the roll-off truck, not just a pickup truck for some dump trailers or a maybe even somebody with a roll-off trailer. You just plug and play another 1 ton in there. Enterprise, I mean, a buddy, I mean, anybody with the truck could probably make that work. However, in this case for me, it was not too pretty that day. So the customer ended up calling me after it was all said and done. Was very, very gracious and kind and understanding, but still just exhausted from the experience. I apologize. I don't know how many times. She had asked me, hey, is it possible, we lost a day. I didn't get my 2 full days, and it was actually filled up in 1 day, and I had to pay people who came, who traveled here from over, about 2 hours away. So she had asked, hey, can I get a $100 refund because of this whole situation? And she said, I'm not trying to be unreasonable, but it didn't work out how it was supposed to. And I said, ma'am, that's more than reasonable. I completely understand. Just because I'm sure it was actually more, and it's just for you alone. How about we do 125? I'd like, if to the degree I can, I'd like to go above and beyond and just try to make this right. Does 125 sound fair to you to return to you from this dumpster rental? The total is $450. A little bit more extra actually because of the fuel. Can I return 125 to you? And would that make it right for you? As best as we can, put a band-aid on a hole in the ground. What a gaping problem we had the other day. And she said, that's more than kind. Thank you so much. Just very, very sweet. And ultimately, this elderly lady, she was just so funny to me on the phone. Besides the major problem, I think it'd be a blast to just talk with her on a regular basis because she was so funny, cracking jokes as she's kind of commiserating this whole problem with me. We had a blast on the phone, laughing back and forth, laughing rather than crying due to the shenanigans of this problem. And ultimately, it was, in the best way and the worst way, it was the right customer to be gracious with me with this whole situation happening. And ultimately, she's very happy with me. At the end, she said, yeah, I've got a pretty big mouth. And so my neighbors already know about you, and they're probably going to be renting from you here soon. And so with that in mind, when you do come to deliver a dumpster to them, hopefully in the near future, I'd like to meet you and shake your hand. And she said that, I'm assuming with the understanding that, I wasn't a scammer. I'm making it right to the best of my ability. I'm not in charge of my truck working 100% of the time, never having a problem. For those who may think there was always one more thing you could have done, I'm sure that's true in a perfect world, and we're not in one, and I'm not perfect. And I'm doing the best I can with trying to chase down little problems that can turn into big problems. And she recognized that and was just very gracious with me. And so at some point I hope to shake her hand. Maybe I'll even get a picture of it and post it on the community tab on the channel. But just what an experience for the first time ever, not being able to deliver a dumpster on time, on the day. I missed my drop, which has never happened. And you know, in the future, I'm sure it won't be the first and last. At some point it'll happen again, maybe even with a different driver in the truck, or something else blows up that's out of my control, out of their control, out of anybody's control. But I don't know, just wanted to share this story with you because bad things happen, and it truly is. This could have gone so much worse. This could have gone, it's hard to believe, but this could have gone in a much worse, more difficult direction. And I believe, despite the trouble and the problems that come up in our business, we have a choice how we respond, how we communicate that to our customers, how we just present ourselves in general. Listen, this thing happened. I'm going to do everything I can to make this right. I did tell her, if for some reason the next morning this truck does not start, I've got a 17-yard, I've got a 15-yard dump trailer I can bring to you. That's not a full 20. You paid for a 20. I would be willing to do a second whole run. And I know I'm losing, you know, and I didn't say this to her, but I know I'd be losing my shirt on the whole deal if I had to do 2 loads of a 17 back and forth for dump trailers, which I'm sure they'd put even more stuff in there if they had the opportunity. And but just to make it right, because this wasn't their fault, technically wasn't my fault either. But when you're the owner, when you're the person who's making the calls, you've got to be able to make these hard decisions. And ultimately it wasn't that hard. It was just my first thought. We gotta plug a hole. We got a problem, we gotta fix it. And so this is just a bit of encouragement to you. These things will happen. When they do, how do you respond? How do you deal with these things? It matters. Customers see it. And apparently I'm going to be getting another dumpster from her neighbor. She's almost guaranteeing it. And I believe that's largely due to how I dealt with the problem and how I took care of her. So hopefully this has helped you. Life's hard, get a helmet. Find a way, fix a problem, and step in the gap and make things happen. So hopefully you have a great day, guys. Stay safe and God bless.